has done a survey of how many children are actually using social media right now and how many of them are avoiding the age restrictions that are already in place. And would you believe it? It's a hell of a lot of them. According to a new eSafety Commission report, about 80% of kids aged 8 to 12, or 1.3 million children, accessed one or more social media services last year in breach of existing limits of 13 years old on most platforms. Who would have thunk it? Kids, quite inventive, know how to get around things. Limits, rules, who cares about them? We'll just go on it anyway. But the government says this is all the more reason we need to bring in our rules to ban kids from using social media. The Communications Minister, Michelle Rowland, says adding the new age limit restrictions would help parents navigate these challenges with their kids. Parents can feel empowered to have conversations with their children about having social media accounts and simply say, no, it's not allowed. Now, look, Michelle, I will admit I haven't looked into your family status. I don't know whether you have any children.
She has two children.
There you go. James has looked into it. He knows she has two children. At least, you know, he might be idealistic, but he has done some research that I failed to do before the show. Thank you for that. She's got two children. So surely she would know that simply saying to kids, no, it's not allowed, doesn't always work. And also saying to kids, actually, it's illegal, doesn't always work, because rules are already in place that say they shouldn't be using social media, but somehow they're going to wave the magic government wand.
Can I tell you?
And then it's all going to be fixed.
Can I tell you what I found to be the most hysterical about all of this? And I love this, the quote that came out of it. A handful of platforms are increasingly adopting proactive tools to identify underage users, such as analysis of vocabulary, emoji use, location patterns indicating school attendance and time spent playing online games or watching cartoons popular among children. That's me and my husband, right? Like, hello? Seriously, I'm watching cartoons with my kids. I mean, some of my emoji use has been pretty darn embarrassing as well. Left, right and centre, almost an overuse of emojis. But if that are these are your proactive tools, these are your spidey senses tingling that perhaps this user may be underage. If that's all you've got, that's pretty absurd, right? And it's ridiculous. And I think, was it Barry Goldwater, the late Republican senator, who said, and I love this quote, government should stay the hell out of people's business. I'm a parent. Let me parent my children. And when it comes to it, if they want social media, guess what? Not in my house, sweetheart. And these are my rules. And for as long as you live under this roof, you will abide by them. So that's what we need to be doing. We need to be empowering parents with the tools and encouraging them to actually parent. Hello, it's a novel idea out there, Australia, but you can do it.
No, but Big Mr. Albo said you shouldn't go on the social media, so that's the end of it, isn't it? I mean, Albo tells you.
Well, that's the funny thing, right? So Michelle Rowlands imagines that, you know, it's pretty hard to get your kids to do what you want because they don't respect you. But if you tell them, the eSafety Commissioner, she says you're not allowed to be on a social media account, suddenly your 13, 14-year-old daughter says, well, if the eSafety Commissioner says, then I won't touch it. The problem they have is that this same review by the eSafety Commission found that of all of these kids on social media who ought not to have been, 54% of them, you know how they accessed social media accounts? Through their parents' account. This is a parenting issue. And so educate parents on the dangers, educate parents on some things that they could do, but leave the role to mums and dads, because trying to police it is never going to work. The only way they can do it, and they've already canvassed it, is to impinge upon everybody's freedoms.
Yes.
Give the job to mums and dads. Do that. My kids didn't get a smartphone until they were 13 years old. Even now, I think that was probably still too young. But they were old compared to all of their friends who had them. And they whinged and whined and said it's not fair. But they did that about ice creams. They did that about bedtime. Kids do that about everything. Parent your kids. You're not their friend. You're not their mate. You're their parent. Be a parent. And the government should be helping people to recognise that, rather than taking responsibility off them and treating parents like, oh, we know you can't discipline your children, let us help you do it. It's just ridiculous.
Here.